All right, so in this example, we're going to look at another real world application. So we are talking about percentages, we're talking about ratios. And so we have a community swimming pool. They offer a diving class and a swimming class. The swimming pool has 1,250 members, all of which are registered for at least one class this summer. If 64% of the members are registered for diving class, 78% are registered for a swimming class. How many of those members are registered for both diving and swimming classes? So, what I would like for you to do is pause the video, see if you can try to figure out how many of those members, or in fact, let's just start with the percentage. What is the percent of members that are signed up for both diving and swimming classes? So pause the video now and see if you can figure it out. Once you feel like you have the right answer, then unpause it so that you can see how we solve it together to make sure that you're doing okay on it. All right, so I wrote down the different groups. We have a diving class, swimming class. Some people are signed up for both classes, and then we should have our total. So I'm going to fill in what I know from the story using the percentages that they gave us. They said that 64% are signed up for diving. So I'm going to put 64% here. 78% are signed up for a swimming class. And then some are signed up for both classes, which we're going to leave that as X because we don't know what that is. And then the total is going to be 100% of the members. Okay. So let's look and see to start solving for that. You would basically take the total, which should be 100%. And then you're going to subtract out, take out the students that are signed up for diving, okay, and swimming. And then you should end up with the total for both. Now, in the last example, I did the same way, but let me also say that you could also do it this way. You could do the total. You could subtract out those that are signed up for diving. You could subtract out those that are signed up for swimming. And then that should equal what you have for both. Okay, so either one of those, I just like to do it this way. I'm just going to add up those that are signed up for diving and swimming and then subtract it from the total. But either one of these is going to give you the same answer. So if I go in and put in the total, I know that's 100. Remember, I dropped the percents because we're talking about out of every 100 students or members, we have 64 of them that are signed up for diving, 78 are signed up for swimming, and some of them are signed up for both of those classes. Okay. So some of the members in both of these are signed up for both classes, which means they would really fall in here under both classes. Okay. So we have 100 for the total. I'm going to subtract out my diving is 64. And then I'm going to add that with the students that are signed up for swimming. So that's 78. And then that gives me the value for X. Okay. And we're going to use what's actually called the absolute value. Okay. If I wanted to do it, and maybe I should number it so we can see what's happening here. So this is method 1 using what I was using. If you want to use method 2, you should come out with the same thing as well. So under method 2, you're going to say the total, which is 100. You'll subtract out the students that are signed up for diving and subtract the students that are swimming. And then you should equal both, or X. Okay. And now we're just going to go and do our calculations. So under method 1, so we have 100. Remember PEMDAS. So I'm going to start with the parentheses. 100 minus 64 plus 78. That gives me 142. Okay. And then that's going to equal X. And if I keep on going with that, again, we're looking at, I have 100. I'm starting with 100, but I'm actually going to take away more than 100. So I'm just going to set this up like a subtraction problem using the larger number because they're going in different directions. This is the way that I look at it. This is like a positive, and now we're going in the negative direction. So they're going in two different directions. So because they're going in two different directions, you use subtraction. So that's 2, that's 4, so that's 42. And then you use the sign of the larger value, okay? So this is 42, but it's a negative because it was the 142 was going in the negative direction was more than the 100 going in the positive direction. All right, so what that means is that X is equal to, so 100 minus 142 is equal to negative 42. That means that X is equal to negative 42. So we're going to use what's called the absolute value, 42. And we're going to use this for our percent. So this means that 42 of those members, or 42 percent, not of those members, but per 100, 42% of them are signed up for both classes. So under method 2, let's see what happens under method 2. Again, it should be the same, right? So 100 take away 64 gives me 36, and then 36 takes away 78. That is going to give me, so 100 minus 64 minus 78 equals X. And all right, so that gives me 100 minus 64 minus 78 gives me negative 42. Same thing that we had before. Okay, so remember we're using what's called the absolute value, just basically saying like how far away are we from 0. We're just using that number. So again, it's 42 for our percent. So it's 42% of the members are signed up for both classes, which is why it looks like we were actually over 100%, but that's because 42% of them are signed up for both of those classes. So what we need to do now is find out the ratio or the number of members out of that 42, okay? So the last time I showed you how to set up proportional relationships, and so let's see what happens. So we'll have a proportional relationship right here. And we have our part to our whole. And then on the left-hand side, we're going to have our number. And here we'll have our percent. And so what information do we have? We know that the whole is 1,250 members. And the percent, we know that the whole is going to be 100%. And we're only talking about the students that are signed up, the members that are signed up for both classes, which was, I believe, 46%, right? 46 or 42? 42. All right, so we're going to take that 42 and put them in the numerator, okay? That means that we're trying to find the value of X over here. And so you can use whatever method you like, your swing method, your cross multiplying, or your fish method to figure out what that answer is going to be, okay? So I'm going to just use cross multiplying this time. I'm going to multiply this on one side, and this will be on the other. All right, so on the side that's the blue, we have 100. I'm dropping the percents. So we have 100 on the left-hand side, 100 times X. And on the right-hand side, we have 1,250 times 42. And then what we end up with is, let me simplify this side, 1,250 times 42%, or 42 is going to be, where's our calculator? All right, so we've got 1,250 times, 1,250 times 42. That is not correct. 1,250 times 42. All right, so we get 52,500. And then we have 100 and x over here. Now, remember the goal is to isolate the variable. I see that x is not isolated. So I see that it's being multiplied. And the only way to undo multiplication is to use division. So I'm going to divide both sides by 100. And using base 10, I know that I'm going to move my decimal 2 places to the left. So that's going to make it 525. But if you don't believe me, you can just hit divide it by 100. And there you go. So x is equal to 525. So what's our answer? We have 525 members that are taking both classes. Both classes. And you are all done.